Amanda Adkins was a devoted mother who had recently moved to West Virginia in search of a better life for her children. Among them was her youngest, Emmaleigh Barringer, a bright-eyed baby girl born on Thanksgiving Day in 2015. Despite being born 8 weeks premature, Emmaleigh was strong, adored by her mother and siblings, and full of joy. Her laughter filled their home, and she had just begun taking her first steps. Amanda met Benjamin Taylor, a man who appeared to be loving and supportive. He showered Amanda and her children with affection, making her believe she had found a trustworthy partner. In August 2016, he publicly declared their relationship on social media, solidifying his place in her life. However, beneath his charming exterior lay a dark and sinister nature that no one had suspected. On the night of October 2, 2016, Amanda put her 3 older children to bed around 9 p.m. Benjamin, who had become a fixture in their household, decided to stay up. Emmaleigh remained in her swing in the living room while he went to the basement to do laundry. At some point, he took Emmaleigh downstairs with him, a decision that would lead to an unimaginable horror. Amanda woke around 4 a.m. and instinctively checked Emmaleigh's crib. It was empty. Panic set in as she realized Benjamin was also missing from bed. Thinking they may have fallen asleep in the living room, she searched there first, only to find it empty. With growing concern, she made her way to the basement, where her world would change forever. There, she found Benjamin shirtless, kneeling over her naked daughter. His pants were unbuttoned. The dim lighting made it difficult to comprehend the full extent of the horror, but as she stepped closer, she saw Emmaleig's face covered in blood. She was making a faint gurgling sound, her tiny body cold to the touch. Amanda's screams shattered the silence. She grabbed her daughter, frantically demanding answers from Benjamin. In her shock and rage, she struck him across the face, shouting, "What did you do?" before running upstairs and calling 911. Through tears and panic, she told the dispatcher that her baby was bleeding. In the recorded call, her agonized screams could be heard in the background, demanding answers from the man she had once trusted. When first responders arrived, they found Amanda holding Emmaleigh, her body covered in blood. Paramedics rushed the infant to Charleston Hospital, but the damage had already been done. She suffered extensive trauma, including severe internal injuries and a skull fracture. 2 days later, on October 5th, Amanda was forced to make the heartbreaking decision to take her daughter off life support. Emmaleigh was gone. Benjamin was arrested and initially charged with first-degree sexual assault. As the investigation unfolded, the charge was upgraded to murder. He attempted to feign ignorance, telling authorities that he had blacked out and couldn't remember what had happened. He admitted to drinking and smoking marijuana earlier. The case quickly gained national attention. The brutality of the crime ignited public outrage, with many calling for the death penalty. An online petition even surfaced, demanding Benjamin be publicly hanged for his heinous act. In March 2019, after a grueling 5-day trial, Benjamin Taylor was found guilty of first-degree murder, death by child abuse, and sexual abuse by a guardian. The jury recommended no mercy, ensuring he would serve life in prison without the possibility of parole. Throughout the trial, Benjamin remained expressionless, showing no remorse. However, when the guilty verdict was read aloud, he finally broke down in tears, though his sorrow was far too late to matter. Amanda sat in the courtroom, reliving the horror of that fateful night as the evidence was presented. She listened to the chilling details, unable to escape the reality of what had been done to her daughter. The defense attempted to paint Benjamin in a sympathetic light, calling character witnesses who described him as a good father figure. But the evidence was insurmountable, and justice prevailed. Following the trial, West Virginia Governor Jim Justice signed Emmaleig's law, increasing the penalties for child abuse resulting in death. It was a small step toward justice for victims like Emmaleigh, though nothing could ever undo the pain Amanda and her family endured. In the aftermath of the trial, Amanda struggled to find meaning in a world that had taken so much from her. The echoes of Emmaleig's laughter still lingered in the quiet corners of their home, a cruel reminder of what had been stolen. Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by endless nights of grief and unanswered questions. She often found herself standing in the doorway of Emmaleig's empty crib, running her fingers along the soft blankets that would never again hold her baby girl. The community rallied around her, offering support in every way possible. Vigils were held, candles flickering in the night like tiny beacons of remembrance. People from across the country reached out, their words filled with sorrow and outrage. Emmaleig's name would not be forgotten. Amanda made sure of that. But grief alone would not define her. Instead of succumbing to the darkness, she chose to fight. She became a fierce advocate for child abuse awareness, standing before lawmakers and demanding harsher penalties for those who preyed on the innocent. She pushed for stronger protections, determined that no other mother would endure the horror she had suffered. Her voice, once filled with pain, now carried the weight of purpose. Meanwhile, Benjamin Taylor sat in a prison cell, stripped of the freedom he had stolen from Emmaleigh. The bars that enclosed him were a weak substitute for the suffering he had inflicted. But at least he would never harm another child again. He had shown no remorse until the moment the guilty verdict was read. Then, and only then, did his tears come. But they were for himself, not for the tiny life he had destroyed. Years passed, but time did not dull the ache in Amanda's heart. On the anniversary of Emmaleig's passing, she visited her daughter's grave. She traced the letters of her name carved into the cold stone. She whispered the words she had spoken every night before bed. Words Emmaleigh would never hear again. "Mommy loves you." As she stood there, a breeze rustled the trees. For the briefest moment, she swore she heard her baby's laughter dancing in the wind. It was fleeting, gone as quickly as it came. But in that moment, Amanda knew Emmaleig's story was not just one of tragedy. It was one of love, one of resilience, one of a mother who refused to let her daughter's light fade into the darkness. Because as long as Amanda breathed, Emmaleig's name would live on.